So stop me if you've heard this one before. A guy walks into a bar.
I'm cleaning up the place. Guess who walks through the fucking door? Little Stevie shithead. Out of the blue, he comes in here acting like a big shot.
The Oak Room is directed by Cody Callahan, the director of Let Her Out. It stars RJ Mitte and Peter Outerbridge, and it tells the story of a few different bars in Canada and the people who walk into them at strange hours of the night. And before I get started, I do want to give a huge thank you to Fantasia Film Festival for giving me a press badge to get access to all sorts of cool films that they're screening there right now. Please check them out. They've got some great content, and they really could always use support. One of the best genre film festivals going right now. I would highly recommend it. I really didn't know anything about this movie going into it. I was familiar with the director, Cody Callahan, because I had seen Let Her Out, and I kind of liked it. I mean, it wasn't the best thing ever. It had its flaws, but it had really good sound design and some cool nightmare imagery, and I, for the most part, enjoyed it. And honestly, The Oak Room took some of the best things about Let Her Out, but elevated them to a whole new degree. There's an expertise here that I saw glimpses of in Let Her Out, but it didn't come anywhere close to this movie, because The Oak Room is downright Hitchcockian at times. Callahan makes excellent use of tension through nothing but really good camera work and a solid script. Here you've got multiple setups, flashbacks inside of flashbacks, doing nothing but telling stories. There are entire sequences of this film where nothing happens, but in spite of that, you're on the edge of your seat because it is shot so well, and you want to know what's going to happen next. The movie starts with a contextless murder, and you want an explanation for the violence and the brutality and all of the shit you're seeing that seems senseless. You know it's not, but you don't know the context of what is going on. And like a good story, it fills you in on those bits and pieces along the way. You're never quite sure who you can trust, whether or not anything you're being told is even true, but the stories being told are so well spoken that you want to know what's going to happen next. There are a lot of static shots, a lot of repeating visual motifs to keep you on edge. The opening murder starts with a shot of a beer bottle that you can't quite see the label of. And throughout the film, we're treated to multiple shots of multiple similar beer bottles in the same position, so you know that that attack is coming, but you don't know where it's going to come from or when. There's a certain stillness to this movie, and it creates an ungodly amount of tension because you're waiting for it to break, given the violent start of the film. So every time a new story starts, you're waiting for it to tie into that opening, but it never quite does. But you're waiting for it to, and you're on edge because you know that's coming at some point. The story flashback sequences are shot like horror films. Nothing is really happening in them, but the way they're shot lends to this vibe of this lonely dreariness of movies like ghost stories. They're shot purposely to keep you 100% in the narrator's frame of mind. What makes this movie so interesting to me is the fact that not a whole lot happens, and in spite of that, you're extremely invested. And honestly, that's the entire point. It's a movie that hooks you in with its premise, and then strings you along the whole way with the promise that it will all make sense at the end, just like a good story does. The Oak Room is literally an ode to storytelling and the power of a good story. It's Hitchcock's bomb metaphor of tension versus surprise stretched out to 90 minutes. And while there were several points in the movie that I questioned where it was going, there was never a single moment where I wasn't invested enough to find out. It also helps that the performances by RJ Mitte and Peter Outerbridge are fantastic. But honestly, I want to praise the script most of all. It's a beautifully written story that's full of twists and deception, and it all counts on you trying to fill in the blanks as it goes along. That's what makes it worth watching. I do have to wonder if it's the kind of movie that will hold up on repeat viewings and become more rewarding, or if it's the kind of movie that'll end up losing something once you've seen the whole thing and you know where it's headed. I know I kept things purposely vague, but that's only because I didn't want to spoil a single thing about this movie and ruin the journey that it takes you on. Anyway, I'm going to say that The Oak Room is a must-see. It's a really wonderful love letter to storytelling as a whole, and it's one I really enjoyed, at least on my first viewing. I definitely want to revisit it in the future. And if you're a fan of a good barroom joke with excellent setup and a good punchline, check this out. You won't regret it. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, click down there, like, comment, subscribe. There's a Patreon link down in the description if you want to be like any of these cool people right here. Please donate. I would really appreciate it. There's all sorts of cool new rewards, anything from access to my private Discord server to gifts sent right to your door once a month. If any of that interests you, please consider donating. I would really appreciate it, but even if you don't, thank you so much for watching anyway, and I will see you all very soon.
We all go there, and when you got there, you remember this. You come and see me, and you say hello.